Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where, although it's rather windy, it is a beautiful late summer's day. The perfect day, you could say, to be driving one of these. The new facelift updated version of the Audi TT RS Roadster. Now today's video is the latest in my series with Pendle Lease. In the past we've looked at some more obtainable and attainable cars. For example, the Mini Cooper S John Cooper Works. We also drove the VW Golf R and GTI, and then some more practical cars too, the Maserati Levante Diesel and the VW Touareg. Well, today it is the turn of the TT RS Roadster. I'm going to show you all around the car. We will then take it out for a drive to see what this car is like and to experience it out on the roads, and then run through some of the technology and interior controls and displays as well. So let's get started then and check out today with Pendle Lease the new Audi TT RS Roadster. My plan today was to bring this car out of the city towards the English countryside, where we will find some lovely roads on which to drive it. And here in the UK, we are big fans of this kind of format. We love a two-seat convertible, despite the fact that we don't that often have weather like today that is perfectly suited to actually drive them. Nonetheless, this is all coming together very, very nicely. And here we have the new, like I said, updated, the facelift, refreshed version of the TT RS Roadster. Now, via Pendle Lease, you have the complete Audi TT range, from the normal TT Coupe and Roadster, the TTS Coupe and Roadster, and the TT RS, the flagship. And the car we're looking at here has their incredibly successful 2.5 litre turbocharged TFSI 5-cylinder engine, an engine that has been, I think, Engine of the Year winner maybe 9 years in a row, something like that. Basically, immensely successful, 400 horsepower, 480 newton meters, mated to a 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch gearbox. The car is Audi's Quattro system, their all-wheel drive, plenty of power then, plenty of go. But one thing we are going to talk about today is the noise of the exhaust. This is the update that has to meet the WLTP regulations, the new European-wide regulations, which means it has what is called the OPF. It's a filter that basically mutes it, takes away lots of the burbles and crackles that, to me, the pre-facelift really just had so much more emotion and oral drama as a result of. But the car we're looking at here is in the ever-popular Nardo Grey, the flat grey paintwork. We have some of the RS design, the extended design package details, which give you these blue touches around the seats and in the central console. But to have a quick look inside, we will run through all of this in more detail. You've got a digital dashboard, the 12.3-inch virtual cockpit, some of the controls on the steering wheel for the start-stop, and also for drive select, where you can adjust your different driving modes. Lots of configuration you can do through that as well. Of course, it is all about this, the fabric roof that can fold up incredibly quickly while you're driving. Demos of that to come. And there's also a wind deflector here that you can pull up to. So at the moment it is parked in, I would say, the good looking mode, almost the poser style mode, but when you're driving it, you pop the windows up, pop the deflector up, and you don't get so much wind whistling through as well. I'm always a big fan of sports cars that have a fixed wing at the back. Front engined wing at the back is always a winning combination. The RS has much more beefed out arches. It looks significantly more sporty than the base model on which it is of course based. It's sitting lower, more aggressive brakes, bigger wheels, and around the front as well, a few design features. You've got the new style single frame grille running all the way around, lower, wider. Down at the bottom, the Quattro text has become a signature thing with Audis. You get LED lights as standard. You can upgrade them to matrix and also OLED tail lights. This car has the gloss black package, exterior design package, where you can see around the lower splitter here at the front, the mirrors, and a few more details as we head around the car, including these cut winglets on the side. And I really actually quite like the shape of that. They're very, very cool. Black TTRS logo badging worn at the rear. You've got a decent amount of luggage space back here too. A few design features here that, well, that's kind of blocked up. That doesn't really do anything. It looks cool, but it doesn't actually do anything, I don't think. Anyway, let me take a step inside. We will get this quickly started up so you can hear a little bit of the sound. We've got RS floor mats down here too. The Audi Sport dashboard coming into life. Press of the button. Into life it comes, and the dashboard wakes up. And this is one of the things about this generation of TT. It doesn't have a secondary display screen in the center. All of your audio, your media, your navigation, your telephone is all controlled through the virtual cockpit. You have some buttons here on the steering wheel that allow you to change the modes and different things that you're looking at, and we'll run through those later on. But basically the dashboard and central console is all kept very clean in terms of its appearance by not having a display. They introduced these air conditioning vents which have those soft controls and displays displays for toggling the temperature or whatever it may be in the center of them, which is really nice. And also, if you look closely, you'll spot the blue inner bezel that you have around that too. Then a little bit lower around the gear shifter, you have this carbon fiber trim piece. I'm a big fan of carbon fiber. Also on the grab handles over on the door, and the blue touches continue all around the central console, this piece that goes around the sides of the RS specific seats. Then you have these center and base backrest parts with the stitching, even some blue touches on the seat belts, which are all details I really like. Just behind, you've got the roll hoops as well. But I think before we do go anywhere, let me come around and just show you the engine, because of course, award-winning engine, this is a big part of this car. A hugely popular one, the Audi 5-cylinder. Let's see if I can find the catch. There we go. Lift that up. So this car, thanks to its four-wheel drive, will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, or 62 miles an hour, in just 3.9 seconds. The Coupe could do it in 3.7, and then it will continue to a top speed that's limited to 250 kilometers an hour, 155 miles per hour, or you can get the optional package to increase that to 280 kilometers per hour, which is 174 miles per hour. So this thing is no slouch. Under 4 seconds to 62 is very quick. In here then, the 5-cylinder engine, it fires 1, 2, 4, 5, 3, the cylinder firing order. But basically, I should point out that this car, to buy outright, has a start price here in the UK, just close that down quickly, of £56,645 base. Then when you add specification to get to a spec like we're looking at here, we're talking a car in the 70,000s, which is where leasing actually comes in, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. For the time being, let me climb back inside, pop the car into, I guess, the mode I'm going to be driving it in. So let's pop up the wind deflector behind. Electric motorizers up back there, close the windows, or rather raise the windows I should say, and there we are. So let's head on out there, have some fun, and see what this is like. Slightly unfairly, I have started with the Audi Drive Select in Dynamics. I'm going to pop that into Comfort just for a second. Now those are the overriding controls that do suspension, throttle response, engine response, all the usual things you would imagine that you could configure in a car like this. There isn't that much breadth of suspension. Comfort is of course much softer than Dynamic, but the car is very firm. Whatever mode you're in, it's a go-kart, and that's, I guess, what makes it so much fun to drive. Anyway, let's go back into Auto, which the car calculates how you want to have it. It's setting itself up, it's working things out. At the moment we're just cruising through the countryside, but we will get to some very nice roads in a second, where I can then press it once more. When we go into Dynamic, you have to press it to bring up the menu. So, oh, there we go, drop down some gears, we got a little bit more burble out of the exhaust note, and we're into sport mode on the gearbox. So you can pull it down between drive and sport, just pulling it backwards down, or you can push it to the left to go into manual and use the shift paddles, where you've got the 7-speed dual clutch gearbox. And this is where this car is ferociously quick. The in-gear acceleration, thanks to Quattro and the immediate power delivery, when I say immediate power delivery, immediate traction, of course it's turbocharged, and you do feel some of that as a result, but the car just gets a move on, and it is so quick. It is so quick. I mean, 400 horsepower, it's pretty small, it doesn't weigh all that much, and it's also tiny on the roads. But I tell you what, with the sound, in the previous car, when you were downshifting, you just get more noise out of it, more visceral emotion, more excitement, and that's definitely something I miss. But it's all we're going to have from now on. It's all we're going to see in the market, is cars losing what they used to have. Of course, going back through a town, pop it back into either into sport or into drive, depending how you want to have it. It's all very easy. It's a very small cabin, which means everything's easily accessible and right around you. Enough space and a comfortable seating position. Maybe I'd like the steering wheel to come a little bit further towards me. I've got the seat quite far back relative, but the wheel just won't come as far as I would like it. But overall, you know, it's an Alcantara grip on the steering wheel, square flat bottom, looks really nice, feels really nice, very in keeping with the Audi brand style and image. And by the way, this is a car from the Audi UK press fleet that they've lent to me to take out for this drive. But I guess just as we're about to come back out to national speed limits, let's drop down some gears, get ready to give it some welly, we could say. Second gear then. It gets a move on. Second and third gear. It's really, really quick. And this is the place. I'm going to go to a twistier road as well, actually, than the one we're currently on. But this is where a car like this excels, and this is why we as Brits love these kind of things, these small sports cars. We love hot hatches, and don't forget, of course, there's a lot in common between this and the RS3, Audi's small super hatch, I think we could say, which has been through various iterations, all featuring this 5-cylinder engine. So out here, this is the perfect place to drive it. The thing, though, to be very wary of is the price tag on the car. And I said it earlier, a spec car is going to be 70 grand. And 70 grand is a lot of money for an Audi TT. And that's obviously where Pendle Leasing come in, and there'll be a link in the description down below where you can find out some of their offers. But leasing gives you this upfront opportunity to know what all the costs are going to be. It can include maintenance, you know exactly what it's going to be precisely per month for a fixed period of time, and that's all the costs up front. There are no surprises, there are no dramas, no things that will come out of the blue completely, and I think that's one definite benefit with a car like this. But it's cool, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Anyway, back into town, back into comfort mode, back on the drive select, there we go. Cruise again, and it's near on quiet silence. The one thing, let's talk about the roof, and in fact, let's do the roof quickly, which you can do while driving. Press the button down, doesn't take very long at all, but this is going to open up an interesting discussion about the sound in the car, because we've got some interesting noises from it here. All the windows closed, it doesn't take long at all, just a matter of seconds. The thing is, it's not as insulating as many soft top roofs actually are. When I was driving the car earlier on 60-70 mile an hour roads, it's really quite noisy in the cabin from wind noise. And yes, it is a very windy day, I will give the car that. And then when it is down, it's quite blustery inside as well. So I'm not the biggest fan of the way the roof mechanism works on this, but I do like how quick and easy it is. And that's always a nice bonus, just go straight down. And there have also been, which we haven't heard yet, some squeaks from the brakes, which is never the greatest either. Anyway, let's head on out then. We're nearly back at another little bit of lovely road, and that's where we will continue to enjoy over some speed bumps. That's one of the other things. I put this car into a pretty awkward garage, no problems with the front end, the ground clearance, which on a car with this level of performance is normally something that is actually an issue. You might be scraping the splitter, going over ridges or different bumps. But we will come out of town into nice roads. Let's take it back out of comfort mode. We do not want that. We want dynamic and manual. Drop a gear. In fact, I might even come to a complete standstill just because the road is totally empty. And should we give it a little bit of a booting? So press of traction into ESC Sport. Throttle down. Go. On the shift as well, it did an auto shift from first to second. The noise, the pop out of it as well, really cool. So I'm sorry if it's quite windy with the roof down. That's what I was trying to say, that it's just quite blustery. So you can put SC into sport mode, which just backs it off ever so slightly. But like this, wind in your hair, small car, this is a tiny road. Just to kind of put it into some perspective, if you were in a much bigger car, let's say an R8 Spider, this is where you'd be very conscious if a car comes the other way. But this is the perfect place to enjoy a car like this on a day like today, meandering backwards and forwards on the countryside lanes. I love taking a car to the right environment, although perhaps it's sometimes a little bit unfair on it. Obviously here, into its own, back onto the power. You do wait a little bit for the power of the turbos to kick into action, but when they do kick into action is where you just get thrusted back into the seat. There is something about this kind of motoring, top down, especially with the sound of the pops of the exhaust from the gearbox when you shift under the trees here. You do get that squirt feeling, the car is just propelling itself forwards. It's very quick, and it's a lot of fun actually. The steering's nice, it dials in better than I expected it to. Normally I'm not a big fan of electronic steering. I much prefer a more traditional hydraulic setup. This drives pretty decently all around, and like I say, mix that with lots of power, a pretty quality interior as well, and it makes for a rather winning package to blast down these kind of countryside lanes. This is the thing though, you just pull out to a roundabout and it has so much go. A 7-speed dual clutch in a car like this is also a wonderful thing, not a traditional automatic. Just while I'm going a little bit slower again, I am going to pop the roof back up because I think it gets almost a bit too blustery on a day like today inside the cabin. You have to really want the wind in your hair because otherwise it gets it gets quite exhausting quite quickly having that much wind blowing straight through. Now this is a very, very narrow bit of road, and we have an SUV in front of us. Unfortunately, he has kindly pulled in just to let us go through. Thank you very much. So then, back in the right environment, you get a good amount of sound into the cabin. You can hear that instantly. Drop it down to second. You still get that same kind of burpy poppy upshift noise. It's quite fun. It just makes you want to do it. It's quite aggressive. It kind of lurches a lot, but that's down to having everything being really sensitive, right? The throttle pedal, the brake pedal, steering feel. Twitchy steering makes it feel more like a go-kart, more like a sprightly thing, and the turning radius is fantastic as well. It can turn almost on a dime. I'm really impressed. When I film these videos and I spin up and down a road and enjoy driving it, it turns around very, very quickly and easily. But overall, yeah, generally good things to say. I'll just find somewhere to pull up and show you a little bit more around the car, in some detail, more of the infotainment, the systems that we have inside. The ironic thing is that I can spend as much time as I do in much hotter and sunnier countries than the UK, and then I come back here at the end of summer. Summer is technically over, and we have a day like this. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. It's a perfect chance to drive this car, and as promised, I'm going to show you a lot more about it now, starting, I think, with the virtual cockpit in front of us, the 12.3-inch digital display, where at the left you have the rev counter, at the right you have the speedometer, just to see that in action. It does actually sound quite nice like that. In fact, I'm just going to open the door quickly, just take a quick little listen. Not too bad, eh? Not too bad. Anyway, let's close that because it's rather windy outside. This is where, between them, you have most of your infotainment, and you can scroll left and right using this to go through the various parts. So, for example, your radio, you can bring up your navigation, you can get your trip computer, you can see all the different bits of information that you might want to see through that. And when you press the view button, this is where you get that enlarged view of information and a much smaller rev counter and speedometer, but you've got the digital speedo still down on the bottom right, and you can change this and have whatever you would like the car to actually be showing you. Then you've got some other controls for the telephone, for the hands-free, for navigation instructions, and a hotkey over on the right, as well as your next track, last track, and being able to mute it by pressing the button or scrolling up and down to raise and lower the volume. Then of course the engine start stop button, as you would expect. Any opportunity just to hear it firing up. Drive select over on the other side. This is where when you press it, as I was saying earlier, it will change between the different modes. So he says, just needs a moment, there we go. Audi Drive Select, Comfort, Auto, Dynamic, or Individual, where you can customize it. And in Individual, you could significantly hear the exhaust valves opening. They're in Dynamic and also in Individual, but you can do that independently with the button here to go from exhaust or engine sound standard to engine sound sport, which just changes a little bit how you hear it. Revs up to about 4,000 when you're in park. So the dashboard down below, you've got your temperature and you've got your fuel gauge over on the right, and your warning lights up towards the top. RS specific TT RS logo here on the left, fuel gauge in the center. And then you've got your cruise control, your lights and your wipers stalks as expected. Your lights just down under here. Now here on the air conditioning vent, and they are cool. The way they're kind of these turbine style. In the center you have the hotkey for your heated seat. The driver's side, and then the passenger side all the way over there. So no doing it for the other person, no surprise hot bottoms in the car. In the center, so you have your fan speed on the left, your temperature in the center, and then your recirc and different things over on the right hand side. A few buttons here for your front window and rear window, then auto stop start, traction, parking sensors, hazard lights. This compartment opens and closes, where you have in here a small storage area, wireless phone charging, the keyless system for the key, RS badge on the back, a few buttons available, quite a small key, and I'm just tucking down there so it's out of the way, but you can close that back over. Hardware button for audio, next track, last track, rotate it for volume, and then some other keys to directly jump to things on your main screen. So for example, if you want to go straight to telephone, you can press that and it'll toggle there immediately. Menu, these buttons also control that like this. So you've got lots of ways of doing the same thing really. And here are your buttons for the roof, and also for the deflector at the back, which you can't do when the roof is up. Good to test. Back behind, ashtray stores away. That's actually a compartment just there to fit your key, but you can't fit the key when it's on a key ring. Otherwise it would sit just in there. Armrest, a small amount of storage. There's another cup holder in here as well. He says it folds up and out, but not the most space in the world. I'm not gonna lie, just Nice the way it's finished with the blue stitching as well on there too. Lockable storage compartment behind. Again, not the biggest in the world, but enough space to hide some things if you want to leave the car parked with the roof down. Then it can't be accessed, just like in the glove box. Again, lockable, but this is absolutely tiny actually. Really not very much space in there at all. You've got SD card slots, I think, for the navigation system, but with the books and user guides, there's not really very much extra room. We've got the Bang & Olufsen sound system in here, carbon fiber grab handles, small door pockets, not the most easy to access. I think that's pretty much the interior covered. Let's hop back on out so you can see what the car looks like while the roof is as it is right now, up, which is always a funny one. Cars like this are designed, of course, as a coupe, and then the roof is chopped off to make them the Roadster, where they always look better with the roof removed. This is a slightly funny one because of the way you have the flat rear deck, and the fabric roof just has to fill that gap rather than the smooth lines of the coupe, but you're always going to get that with the Roadster. Around the back, the Audi RS style large oval tailpipes. This is the new design that they've gone for on recent generations of cars, so part of the facelift. The new updated tail lights, you've got that strip that runs all the way across as well, just integrating the design. The wheels specific to the car, large brake discs and calipers. Around the front, the new headlights. This was also the design, the lower part of the design, the lower apron was all changed, so these were enlarged. You've got these much wider, in fact almost as wide as the wheels, just giving the car more presence. So when you are low down at the front, for example, it just has that width to it, that anger and the aggression. Although I won't lie, it can often be quite hard when you're seeing an Audi driving towards you to know what Audi it is, because at the front they do all look pretty similar. They all have that distinct single frame grille, the same kind of outline to the headlights. Yes, there's a different interior lighting pattern to the way they're displayed on the different models, but they're all kind of similar, which makes it a little bit confusing. But this was reworked, updated for the new model. I like the black mirrors, I like the wing. I think the shape of this is really cool, just sporty, aggressive, and that's what it's all about. So I think there we pretty much have it. My first drive experience in the new facelift updated Audi TT RS. A huge thanks goes to Pendle Lease as well. You'll find plenty more information down below about the TT RS Roadster, TT RS Coupe and the other Audi TT models if you're interested in finding out more about leasing, about how it all works and about what they can offer, including some price quotes as well. So that's it for this time. Thank you very much as always for watching, guys. I appreciate your support, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.